How should we make it clear that we are not pursuing and will not pursue a nuclear weapon? They can verify this in any way they choose. If they genuinely want Iran to not have a nuclear weapon, we are ready to accept whatever verification measures they require.
So that is the president of Iran through an interpreter. We have a foreign minister who says they made great progress. We have an Ayatollah that says we're never going to stop nuclear energy program. That's not what we're talking about. If you're going to do that, what you do is you enrich uranium outside the country because you can't be trusted. Michael Makovsky joins us now, President and CEO of the Jewish Institute for National Security of America and a leading Washington, D.C. based policy and educational organization looking at defense and national security. Michael, who do we believe? The Ayatollah who basically threatened to blow up one of our aircraft carriers, or the foreign minister who says that we agreed on a framework?
Yeah, I wouldn't believe either of them. I don't believe anything the Iranians say. Right now, they have only really two main interests. One is try to postpone a U.S. strike, and two, and most importantly and relatedly, to stay in power. That's what the regime cares about right now.
How worried are they, do you think?
Well, they have to be worried. One question I think that's reasonable to ask, and I think we learned this from what happened in June when Israel and the U.S. attacked their nuclear facilities, is how much honest and candid information is the supreme leader of Iran actually getting from his own people. We can't assume that he's actually getting everything. We know that from the past that he was misled by his own people, so we don't know.
About what? Tell me how he was misled.
Well, first of all, I think his people way overstated before the June war about what they thought Israel could do. And a lot of those people then got killed by the Israelis, so there was really no punishment that the supreme leader could inflict. But based on my understanding of speaking to the senior Israeli defense officials, and I've heard this a number of times over the years, they know for a fact that his own people are not telling him the honest truth, to cover themselves up and to promote themselves.
I mean, he hides in a bunker, right? But yet, I think Israel knows exactly where he is. I'm going to ask you in your opinion. People say, well, the one thing you got to do is don't kill the Ayatollah, then it becomes a religious cause. But that's what they said about Nasrallah. And Israelis killed Nasrallah, and I thought he was more popular, more vibrant than the Ayatollah, more of a regional personality. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything.
Look, you're 100% right. I mean, Nasrallah was, the supreme leader of Iran is in his 80s. He's sick. He's, and so on. Nasrallah was, completely different, as you correctly state. The only question is if what Israel could do is different than what the United States, a superpower, should do. I think it's really an open question whether if we attack that we should go after him. I think it's fine. I think it's important that the Israelis did it, and they showed extremely effectively, as you point out, with Nasrallah and even with the Iranians, that when you kill senior leaders of your enemies, it really has a debilitating impact on them. They can't react quickly, and so on, and it severely weakens them. I'm not sure here. I could see both sides, honestly, whether it's good to go after him or not. I think it's more important for the United States to not only hit the key levers of power of Iran, I mean the missiles for sure, and the nuclear program, but also other levers that are keeping their people down and the regime alive. And that could be the Islamic Revolutionary Guard leaders, the Basij leaders. It might also be maybe destroying a lot of their navy. That would be a potent attack for the United States. And also it would really weaken the regime, I think.
The whole thing, Michael, the way Trump operates is that he doesn't want to occupy the country, doesn't want people on ground, right? You do what you want. He's not even he's not necessarily looking to put democracies anywhere. He says, look, you get the buses to run on time, you pick up the garbage, but I need somebody that's going to be in charge, which makes me think that he wouldn't necessarily blow up the refineries and the oil fields because he knows that country's got to stand up and those people are going to need some type of economy. Or do you think I'm wrong on that?
No, it's a good point. I would make a distinction between the oil facilities and the refineries. because the oil, if we would do, I don't see as much advantage to hitting the export facilities because that just raises prices for Americans as well because it will impact oil. What I'd rather do on that front is just make sure that no Iranian oil exports come out of that country for the reason you just stated. So then if they have a better government, then they'd be able to rehabilitate more quickly. The issue with the refinery I see is a little different because that does weaken the regime, I think, very clearly, because then it would really cause more unrest inside the country. I think for the president, and I agree with you, I don't think he's here to install a Democratic leader, although that sounds like a contradiction in terms. But what he's here to do, I think, or what I think he might do, we don't know for sure, is to weaken this regime, to punish them for slaughtering tens of thousands of their people and imprisoning even more, making sure that they can't terrorize our allies in the region, the Israelis, the Emiratis, and so on, and then really make it easier for the people to take down the regime, because it's ultimately going to be the Iranian people that do it, not the United States.
So Lisa Deftari, who has family still there, was born in Iran, is now out in California. She's the foreign desk editor-in-chief of our anti-Iranian publication, said this about this, what the Iranian people want. Cut 15.
One thing that I want to remind people is that they are not suicidal. They have used their ideology to last, to sustain themselves, but they will not die for this ideology. And that is very important to remember. And I think that is why we have seen the tactic or the strategy of patience here by the Trump administration. We need missile defense systems in place. We need the proper strategy. This is not a Venezuela. This is not an in and out. This is not a slam dunk effort. The Iranian people know what it's going to take, and that's why tens of thousands of Iranians have surrendered their lives in the quest of freedom. They know what it's going to take. It's going to be a collaborative effort, and they're looking to Donald Trump to help them in that effort.
And this is it. I mean, this is a window of opportunity for people to say for 47 years, why now? The missile defense is down. Israel made them more vulnerable than ever. The people have risen up. The rial is devalued. Water is out in Tehran. This is the moment of unrest and a welcomeness among the population.
Right. So exactly. So what it does is it offers President Trump unusual, unique, historic opportunity to help bring this regime down, which is one of the biggest enemies of the United States since its inception in 1979, for all the reasons you just stated. So I think he has two options with a campaign. I think we all understand now it's not going to be a strike. It will be a campaign, as we talked about together, I think about a week ago. And I think he has two options. He could just go after the nuclear facilities, the missiles, and so on, or he could really go to try to weaken the regime. My hope is that he does the latter and that he capitalizes on this historic opportunity.
Michael Makovsky is our guest. So, and of course, they say it's 90% chance this is going to happen, and there's going to be, in 2 weeks, there's going to be another round of negotiations. How ready is Israel? We know a couple of weeks ago that he told the president, don't do it yet. And he made it public, and a lot of people were mad at Netanyahu, but he's got to worry about, he didn't think the missile defense was there. What was the delay? And do you think they're ready now?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, there's some line that generals never feel they're completely ready. They always want more, and you could understand that. By the way, I think we're blessed in the United States that the commander of our Mideast forces is Admiral Brad Cooper. I think he's an excellent commander. He has a lot of respect, not only inside the U.S., but by our allies in the region. But I think the Israelis are ready. I think they needed to pause. There was an unfortunate cost to that pause, especially internally inside Iran. How many more people were killed or arrested? On the other hand, I think the Israelis know that the time has come. I don't know exactly what day, but they had to prepare, and they had to coordinate with the United States to make sure that any campaign that happens is going to be meaningful. Now, if I may, I think there's a question of how this is going to work out. If the U.S. does this, does Israel go in with them right away? Or I think more logically, again, I don't know, but more logically could be the United States. This is the American campaign, and if the Iranians then retaliate regionally, particularly against Israel, which is highly likely, then Israel gets in.
Oh, is that how you see it? I see them launching together simultaneously.
It's possible. It's very possible. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I could see it both ways. We could argue for the United States it's a better optic to do this alone. Personally, I'm personally indifferent either way, because I think the Israelis are going to be highly involved no matter what. And I'm sure that whatever America does, Israel is supporting the United States as much as possible. And by the way, I may add, it's unfortunate that some of our Arab allies are not allowing us to use their airspace to their campaign. And it's something my organization, JINSA, has argued for, based on a recommendation of a former CENTCOM commander, General McKenzie, which is that we should take more use of Israeli. There's an air base in southern Israel. Israel gives a complete freedom of action. I think these kind of moments that are so important for the United States, it's good to look around at our allies. Who's helping us? Who's not? The Israelis are clearly with us to completely 100%. And I'd like to see some of our Arab allies do the same.
Jordan, Qatar, we have the big base there, right? They're helping out in 2 aircraft carriers. We'll have to see. I know people rolling their eyes and saying, oh, another conflict, the president was going to keep us out of it. This was a 47-year problem. And he's not looking to occupy, but he's not looking to run from any issue that's going to just be worse the longer you wait. I think there's a huge practical side to him.
I think he's the president of cleaning up a lot of messes. And you're right. He's inherited this. His predecessors ignored it. He's the first president to publicly stand by Iranian demonstrators against the regime. He's the first president then, of course, working with the Israelis to hit the Iranian nuclear facilities. I don't think President Obama or Biden would ever have done it, if they were president today. So I give him a lot of credit for that. And I agree. He was compelled to do this. He didn't seek this out.
He didn't, but he knew how bad the JCPOA is, and think about it. Think about the damage that the Iranian situation did to Carter. The Iran-Contra with Bush, 41, and Reagan got hurt by it, almost lost, he won re-election, but it got pretty iffy for a while. And then Obama with the JCPOA. He could not get Democrats to vote for it. Remember, Chuck Schumer, Menendez, he couldn't get 50 votes, and he had the Senate. And the JCPOA was going to evaporate in 10 years anyway. It would have been done. So it was a bad deal, and I think all those legacies got hurt by it, Republicans and Democrats. So this would put an end to it. And waiting in the backdrop is Cuba. And we had Rubio meet with officials, and I think they see Maduro in a Brooklyn prison. And I think the offer was, do you want to go there, or would you rather go to Turkey or somewhere else? And I believe there might be a soft landing coming for Cuba. That would be a problem since it's been around since the 60s. It's an exciting time. Michael Makovsky, thanks so much.
No, thank you for having me. Nice to speak with you.
You got it. Back in a moment.